Welcome to The Girls Who Waited, the Geek Girl YouTube show all about Doctor Who and more. Welcome back for another one of our and more episodes. Today we want to talk about Mad Max Fury Road. Angela and I have both seen it recently and have a lot of thoughts we wanted to talk about. I'm your host, Lil, with my fantastic co-host, Angela.
Hey!
So, Angela, I feel like you probably know a little bit more about Mad Max than I did going in. I think you said you've seen the originals, so I'm going to let you go talk about it first and kind of what you thought and all the general overview of Mad Max.
Okay, well, I was excited about Mad Max. I was really, really excited. I watched the old movies when I was very little, so it's been a very long time since I've seen them. I really want to go through and watch them all again, like all in order. But I was really excited, especially since the original director was doing Fury Road. So I was like, okay, I'm in. I'm totally in because it's a series that's being directed by the exact same person the entire time. And while I was still wary because it's Hollywood and they like to change things, cut things, make it not what the director and the writers envision, I was still kind of excited because, yeah, it's Mad Max and it normally is pretty awesome. So there's no Tina Turner this time, but we got some pretty kick butt females in this one, and I was excited. So I'm just kind of. So yeah, there's probably going to be spoilers in this episode. So if you haven't seen it yet, before I say any spoilers or before Lil says any spoilers, probably should cut the video off if you haven't seen the movie. Okay. But yeah, I was also very excited that they showed the car and then they showed the car not being there for like the rest of the movie. That was a big deal. Like that was Mad Max. That was Max's car.
Okay, I was going to say whose car was that Max's, because I don't have like the history of, I know the other three films existed and I used the magic of the internet and watched like all the trailers for the three movies on YouTube just now before we did this. So I kind of have like some visual cues in terms of what it looks like, but
in the second one, Virginia Hay is in it, and she actually played Zahn on Farscape. Did you watch Farscape?
Mm-hmm.
So she was the blue chick on Farscape, which is really cool because she was in a Mad Max movie because she's Australian, and yeah. So I'm going to pull up the names of some of these actors because I can't remember all their names. But no, I was really, really excited. I was really sad that Pitch Perfect 2 beat out like every single movie in theaters that weekend because I understand it's a rated R movie and it's sci-fi and all that, but I'm also really happy they made their budget back because that means that the fifth movie they're wanting to make might actually happen because supposedly he's already started writing it or something and is saying that it's going to happen. So I sure hope so because it was awesome and they had good marketing, which is what a lot of sci-fi movies normally don't have this day and age. John Carter. But, I was really happy that so many people were excited for it. And then people saw it and they like flipped their crap because they didn't expect it to be as good as it was. So what did you think?
Well, I went into it kind of a little differently because as I said, I haven't seen the original three films. And I very vaguely remember seeing trailers for it and thinking, I don't want to see that movie. Doesn't look interesting. It just doesn't look like the type of movie I would want to go see. So when it came out, I started having all of these friends on Facebook and Twitter, just Mad Max, Mad Max, Mad Max. And then I was out with a friend and they were like, oh, Mad Max was so good. You have to go and see it. It's like, that's not my type of movie. But we talked about it and we kind of talked about the film history of the original Mad Max films and what they were about and then kind of this one. And I'm kind of a wimp, so whereas Angela likes all the horror stuff, I am not. Don't give me scary movies, nothing.
But it's not scary.
I know, but I thought for some reason like the trailers, I thought it was like a really intense like thriller, scary. I don't know what I thought. But I thought it was going to be kind of like a scary movie. And admittedly, like the first 20 minutes of that film, there's that like the sequence that they have Max, and he's remembering his past, and there's like all these images are flashing up. I was a little terrified, and I was like, what am I doing? Why am I in this movie? I'm freaking out right now. um, but by the time it was over, I it was funny because when I saw it, or I've only seen it once, but when I got out of the theater, I thought, well, that was good. I probably won't see it again. That was done. But I kept thinking about the movie. Like I still am thinking about it and all of the things that happened and what made it a good movie. Why is it so popular? What I liked about it, and there was so much that was going on, and so much that happened, and so much you just kind of get accepted into that world right away. They don't take a lot of time to explain anything. It's just this is happening and go. And honestly, I really liked that. And the more I think about it, the more I'm like, I could really see this movie again. I actually was really engaged for a couple of hours, and
But they also took half a movie to really like get you to know the characters
yeah,
and get you to like the characters and understand their what's going on with them. Whereas most movies don't take a lot of time for you to like get to know the characters. They're just there.
yeah,
So they did a lot of that, which was really nice. And it's nice for them to realize that, you know what? It was very intelligently done and the audience wasn't treated like they were stupid. So
yeah. It was like just get engaged with the characters, stay connected with them, and you'll be rewarded through the film by staying along with what's happening. Like just accepting the ride and going with it. Things will be explained. You'll understand what's happening. You'll understand people's motivations. Um, and so that I thought was really neat. Like, having Furiosa take the wives, like it takes you a really long time to know she's taking the wives, and then you don't see them, and then when you finally do get to see them and understand, you know, she's trying to rescue them. It's really fascinating.
and it was really nice to see a lead female character that wasn't just like overly sexualized and pretty.
Yeah.
Like she was very gritty. She was very like she was somewhat like not completely whole because of the whole arm thing. She was, she was an amputee and all of that. So that was really, really cool to see that they took. I mean, Charlize Theron is a beautiful woman. To see that they did that, and then they're just like, yeah, you're gonna play this very gritty female character who is. I'm trying not to say the word that came into my head, but really awesome.
Well,
That's the A word I'm looking for.
that and like the fact that her eyes are amazing, and you can tell that the people that were putting together her look for that film knew that that was going to be a part of the visual storytelling in terms of that black across her face, because you see her eyes so much, and so much of what you see in the story that you see is in her eyes and the way she looks, and that it's so powerful. Like even in a lot of the images they use for the film, it's often like seeing her face and her eyes, because it's kind of like showing you who she is and that sort of toughness she has, but also the hope that she has in trying to save these girls. And I thought that was pretty like neat way to represent the character.
It was also very nice to have the main character, the title character of the movie was basically the sidekick. He wasn't the lead character, even though the movie was named after him and the whole franchise is named after him. And this one, he kind of just took the back seat to this completely awesome female who's trying to do something good and trying to like.
Someone told me that for one of the original movies, I don't know if it was the first movie, the second movie, Mad Max never really has a lot of lines. That
Oh no, he normally doesn't have a lot of lines.
So that's not too different in terms of this film and having other people have more lines. He's just kind of that character that's there and helps motivate the story, but the focus is really kind of the world around him.
So, and it was really cool the way they just kind of showed you that all, like, because they kept saying the salt. So how, like, the oceans had just dried up. So when they keep talking about salt, you're just like, oh. But they stay in Australia. They don't really tell you what happened to the rest of the world because they don't know. So it's cool how they kind of set that up where you're just like, oh crap. Is it just Australia that totally just like went crazy and stuff, or is this the rest of the world, or what's going on?
Well, yeah, and it goes back to them you just accept that that's the world. It's the dystopian future that is there, and it exists, and this is a problem, End of story. And they don't. I like that we don't have to like spend all this time with, oh, let me share background information and go back forth here. There's just like, let's get to the story, let's get it happening, let's move along. And those action sequences, my word, there's so much that happens in all of those car chases.
The old ladies actually did all of their own stunts.
What?
Yeah. I was reading an article online about it today that all the old ladies with Furiosa actually did all their own like motorcycle stunts and everything, which is insane. And I also, one of the things that just made me, it took me a very long time to realize that that was Nicholas Holtz in the film, and I'm just sitting here going, "Oh my gosh, that's the dude from the zombie movie from Warm Bodies." What? No, because
Right?
I'm like, why is this voice so familiar? Like I'm like his facial structure looks familiar too, but why is his voice? And I was like, holy crap! And so they just took this, somewhat attractive Hollywood actor, shaved his head, made him white, and just went crazy with them. And that's awesome that you get to see this actor that normally plays different roles, so you get to play this totally different role
He looked
every
like
year.
though he was having so much fun. Like he's so got into that
Yeah.
character, and by the end of the movie, oh my gosh, my heart. I don't want to say it, but he was so amazing. He really did
He
a
was.
great job. Like seeing that character change from the beginning of the film to the end of the film was really, I mean, it was really one of my favorite parts because that's such a major, like him understanding where he is and, being so a part of the War Boys and then getting to know the wives and just everything that sort of happened to him and how he changed. It was touching.
Mm-hmm. So, and that was another thing where they actually gave us time to see the characters, see them grow, like actually get to be able to, like them and understand them. So that was a really good thing about this. The funniest thing I've seen today, though, is if you go on Amazon.com and you look up the Wilton cake spray in
Oh,
silver,
mm-hmm.
the comments, like the actual reviews below it, are really, really, really funny. Because basically it's just a silver spray, and they're like, oh, I will get into Valhalla and stuff like that. It's really funny. Just go to Amazon and look up the Wilton spray cake
It's
silver
floating around
stuff.
Facebook too. Like,
It's
what? I never quite understood that. Was that just a way of them being crazy? Like, let me spray my mouth with chrome and like I didn't really get that part of it. Maybe I missed something.
maybe. So, but no, I mean, I was really excited for this film. I went and saw it with some friends 2 weeks ago, and I normally don't go to the movies by myself, so I was really excited that people were like, let's go see this movie that everyone else has already seen before us, so before it's spoiled. So, and another amazing thing that I was so excited for, because they always have their cars are weird, they always show the, weird musical instruments. So that flaming guitar,
I didn't even know when that happened. I was like,
that's
what?
awesome. Like it's just ah, it was so awesome. Like they all practical, like for the most part, practical effects, practical makeup, and what computer generated stuff they did do was really, really nice and really well done. And it wasn't so in your face over the top, oh my gosh, that's a computer, that it worked really well and it just made the film very beautiful.
Yeah, it felt like really gritty and dirty and just you got fully immersed in that world because you felt like you were watching something that really happened and you weren't just in some fantasy because again, like you said, it was so real and gritty and just
And if you didn't
fantastic.
notice, for the first almost half of the film, there's basically no music.
I didn't. Someone else pointed that out to me and I hadn't really thought about it at
Yeah,
all.
there's basically no music for the first half of the film. And then, like, when everything starts getting crazy, then you start getting more music in there.
Yeah, I feel like that's why I need to go back and see it again, as I really didn't absorb it that first time because I was so hesitant going in and not knowing what I was getting. And then, of course, when you're watching the action sequences, you're nervous and you're tense because you don't know what's happening. And now I want to go back and get more immersed in the story without that tension.
Mm-hmm. Should go see it again.
I know. So much going on. I still want to see Pitch Perfect too.
I'm glad you saw Mad Max first. Let them earn their money so they'll make another one.
Yeah. So are they talking about that? Like, are they talking about making
That's supposedly what the director has said, but he's like 70. So hopefully they make it soon if they're going to make another one. So
It was funny. I heard someone comment. I don't remember if I saw this on Facebook or someone said this in person, but like, hey, George Lucas, you should take a book out of a page out of Miller's book because his like reboot was so much better, or at least felt like. I know a lot of people that have watched the original Mad Max films felt like this Mad Max flowed really well with those three, and a lot of people feel like George Lucas not so much.
well, there's a whole bunch of other stuff different there too. But here's the thing too that was really cool to find out, that I may be wrong. I keep hearing this though, that the director for the Mad Max films is really the first one to all the way through direct one franchise, like all the way through so far, for
Oh,
more than like 2 or 3 movies.
yeah.
So that was kind of cool. And I mean, that's the one thing that had me going, oh, this film, could actually be good, instead of, oh, they're rebooting it and they brought in all these other people that, stuff like that. But having, someone that knew the franchise, that has known the franchise since the beginning, come in and do it, then that just kind of made me go, okay, this will be good. I'm excited.
Yeah, and it's impressive. Like I said, when I was watching little clips on YouTube from the original films, like you can still see that the feeling that you get watching those, you can see how that translated into modern day. Like it really is a pretty smooth transition from the 80s films to what we get today, and I was really impressed with that. Like, just even though of course they're still very different, there's very different things about them, at the same time you can tell that they all fit together.
That they all came from the same vision, really.
Yeah.
So, but no, I really liked it. Like, I just can't say that enough. It was so good.
Yeah. And everybody was fantastic. All the actors, I mean, the wives were absolutely amazing. And even they don't spend a lot of time talking. You still get the emotions of each of them and what they've been through and what they're trying to escape from. And I liked it when they had, like, I guess it was the chastity belts in some way to protect from other people having their way with them outside of the bad guy. And they'd cut all their belts off, and they were trying to run away from the bad guys, and one of the girls like turns around and kicks one of the belts, and just sort of like this little act of defiance that she has. I liked that because they were young, and you could tell that some of them had been through a little bit more than the others, and yet you also got to see this little individualistic spirit in each of the girls through sort of how they reacted to their freedom and what was happening. I like that.
Yes. Okay, so you have anything else you want to add for Mad Max Fury Road?
Go see the movie if for some reason
go see it.
Lasted all the way through this and haven't seen it yet. It's definitely a good.
You were warned.
This is true.
Yes. But okay, well, I will be at Con Carolinas this weekend in Charlotte, North Carolina. If you are in the area and attending the con, come find me. I will be there as a guest on panels. I will also be selling my newest cookbook, Shut Up and Eat, the unofficial Doctor Who Series 8 cookbook. So I'll have those with me. We will be back next week with the next in our iZombie reviews. We'll be doing, I think, 4 episodes this time, up until at least last week's episode, yesterday's episode.
Because I'd like to catch up.
Yes, we're trying to catch up on those. I actually had my headset break, so I had to order a new headset, which put us behind on doing episodes since I didn't have a microphone so we could talk, and my speakers are underneath my computer, so it's very difficult for me to film without a microphone. So,
What?
but yeah,
What?
I know. What? If you actually want to hear me and not have me yell. So, but thank you guys so much for watching The Girls Who Wait, the Geek Girl YouTube show about Doctor Who and more. We will see you next time. I'm your host, Angela, and this is my co host, Lil.
Bye.
And we will see you guys next week.